sorry. Well...
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show.
Alright, welcome to the Will and Thunder Show. I'm Will, and we are Thunderless. Thunder, he's in Cocoa Beach, as we found out last week. He's partying his ass off, and he's not going to be here tonight to come up with any words of the day like he did last week when the word was, man. He sounded like those little seagulls on Finding Nemo. Anyway, we do have a guest host tonight. It's none other than one of our favorite guests, Mr. Sam Morris from the band 3D In Your Face. How's it going, Sam?
Yeah. Good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm here, living the dream, I guess you could say.
Another wonderful night in rock and roll radio.
We've got the band Wicked coming on. They're a glam act similar to what you guys do. So they'll be on in about 30 minutes or so. Tell us a little bit about 3D. 3D. They've been on. 3D In Your Face has been on with the Will and Thunder Show twice now, and here's Sam Spade making his third appearance, which has only been done by one other person.
I am very thankful to be on the show again, third time. So yeah, 3D In Your Face, we're doing good, man. We're out on our tour right now, summer tour 2014, celebrating 15 years of 80s hair metal, rock and roll, whatever you want to say. We got a big July 4th lineup, 3 shows this weekend and 2 next weekend, so things are going good.
Very cool. And where can they get your album?
Our album, Midnight Devils, we released December 6th, 2013, is available on our website, 3dinyourface.com. That's the letter 3, dinyourface.com. Also available iTunes, Amazon.com, or Google Play. Basically anywhere you want music, it's there.
Yeah, that's an awesome album. I mean, I reviewed it on my blog and on Sleaze Rocks as well. And yeah, that's in my regular rotation for songs that I listen to. And that little bit that we played there, that's the song for In Your Face, which is off of that album, and you guys had a video for that one too, which is very cool.
Yeah, we did our first video. Yeah, our first video on a party bus, actually. Party Express Bus, one of our sponsors, let us use one of their buses for the evening. We invited 30 of our closest friends, and we all got on the bus, and you could basically see what happens on YouTube.
Yeah, I watched that, and I was just like, yeah, why didn't I get a bus?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean,
how long did it take you to shoot the video?
It was about a 12-hour day when everything was said and done from the time we got there. I mean, cameras started rolling at 9 o'clock, and then we finished up about 1. But, setup and everything else, it was about a 12-hour day of shooting.
You started at 9 in the morning or 9 at night?
No, 9 at night. We started because the sun had to be down for it to be dark. Yeah, we started setting up around like noon that day, and we finished up about 1 in the morning.
Very cool. So those for those new listeners and everything, we're going to try and do the show as close to normal as we do when Thunder is here, and this is our warm up segment before the guest shows up, and this segment we call it the shenanigans segment.
Our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Shenanigans! Shenanigans!
Are you little?
Need another quarter. I love that little ending bit there. Like you just died or something. Well, to kick this off, we got a couple rock and metal stories to talk to. First off, that video that's gone viral about Gene Simmons supposedly pissing himself on stage in Denver while they were playing Hide Your Heart. And I think that I watched the video and I saw what they're referring to. Now Gene says that it was water that he rinsed to rinse off the blood that he spits. And I looked at the video, and unless he's part horse, that's way too much liquid coming out to be piss.
I kind of agree with you. Part of me wants it to be piss because I think that's the ultimate rock and roll moment is you just say, fuck it, I'm just going to piss right here. But, I've been in those positions on stage, even, while playing where you're like, I can't hold it any longer, but I could make it to the bathroom or make it off to the side of the stage and just keep playing. Because I play the bass, it doesn't matter. I just play the right E string and you just go. And I was a guitar tech for 3D before I joined the band. And back in those days, we used to party pretty hard. And the bass player would come up to me and he's like, man, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to piss. And he would just kind of swing his bass off to the side, and I would just play the bass while he, pissed off the side of the stage,
That's funny.
So I think at any moment, you could probably make it to where you weren't peeing in the light of the stage.
Well, Gene said that, if he had actually pissed himself, he would totally own up to it. And I believe him. I mean,
Right.
I really do. And, so he pissed himself. So what?
Exactly. That's the worst thing that's ever happened in rock and roll?
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, it's not the Alamo, but I mean...
I could tell piss stories for hours. I was in a band and we were touring in Milwaukee. Not in Milwaukee, we were in Wisconsin, and it was a punk rock band. We were staying at an anarchist collective, and they only had one couch. And I was sleeping sharing the couch with the lead singer, and I ended up pissing the bed with him in the bed. And he didn't know, and I didn't tell him for 3 years. And it was just one of those things, It happens. It's rock and roll.
One night after a show that in a band that I was in, I kind of hooked up with this girl, and the next morning my mattress was soaked. Apparently she and yeah.
You're like, good, I have to get a new mattress now.
Yeah, I mean, I had to. Obviously, I didn't see her again, and she was all embarrassed and everything. At first, she tried to burn it into. At first, she tried to say that that she didn't do it, that it was me. I'm like, no. I've been pretty drunk in my. I've gotten pretty drunk before, but I've never been so drunk that I pissed myself.
I was drinking a large Gatorade in bed, and it spilled, and I just didn't clean it up.
Damn. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point over this tour with Kiss and Def Leppard, now I wouldn't be surprised if Gene does piss himself just for the hell of it.
I think you should make it into his new stage, a new act. You know, he does the blood, he does the fire. Now he does the piss.
And piss rhymes with kiss. They could call it the golden shower segment.
Yes. Yes.
Oh God. That was wrong. The other little bit of news that we have is this huge tour being announced that Judas Priest and Steel Panther, and you know, you were telling me that Eddie Trunk. What exactly did Eddie Trunk say about it?
You want me to quote Eddie? You want me to quote Eddie Trunk?
Well, you can paraphrase it.
I love Eddie Trunk, and I think that you know, he's like he's kind of the going expert on all things rock and roll and heavy metal. And here's what Eddie Trunk has to say. Now, this is Eddie's words, not mine. He thinks Steel Panther, they're nice guys, they're amazing musicians, but they're a parody of the 80s. They're a parody of an 80s hard rock band. Their albums chart on the comedy, the Billboard comedy charts, not the like the heavy metal charts. They worked hard to build their roots as a cover band playing in LA, but I'll admit that he'd rather see Judas Priest take out a traditional metal band, a new or an old band, with the same commitment and values to metal that Judas Priest has.
See, I disagree with Eddie on this one, and this isn't the first time that I've taken issue with something that Eddie Trunk has said. Yeah, he did give them credit for being phenomenal musicians, which they are, and sure they're a parody of an 80s band, like you said, but. And actually, when it comes to you guys, I mean, I don't put you in the same category with Steel Panther, because Steel Panther may be a parody, but you guys are the real deal. I mean, you guys are a glam band. That's what you guys do.
Right.
And so I just wanted to put that on out there, which and I have a little bit more respect for what you guys do than Steel Panther. I mean, Steel Panther had a couple really badass songs, but some of their songs are just kind of lame. Bland, maybe. Like, especially the song, the Party Like It's the End of the World song or whatever. That sounds, I mean, that song is so bland that it's not even,
Right.
I
don't know. When I first heard Steel Panther, I was completely blown away, and I loved that album with, Girl from Oklahoma, and yes, that album I thought was incredible, and now it's like, I don't know if it's like the coming of age, but when you see like, bros and hipster dudes and everybody else coming up and singing those songs and requesting Steel Panther, you're like, it's gotten to the point where they're not, I don't know how to describe it,
if you've
their
got
crowds change.
If you've got Usher up there singing a song with you, then there's something wrong. Now, I mean, I don't know if they've ever had Usher. That was just the first name that popped into my head. I know they've had Kelly Clarkson up there on the stage with her, with them, and they were talking about, dude, be nice to her. We might get to fuck her. That's funny. But it's just, I get what you're saying, but still, all in all, they are incredible musicians, and I think that they're very much worthy of being on tour with Judas Priest. Just for that fact. I mean, people are still coming to see them. They're largely responsible for bringing metal back to to the interest. So you're damn right they deserve it. Because if it hadn't been for Steel Panther, there's a damn good chance that we'd have some type of hybrid of new metal and grunge right now if it hadn't been for them. So I think they're I think that you could call them an icon because
absolutely. I think I'll say this 1,000 times. I read an interview with Michael Starr, and he worked worked his ass off to get where he was, and he paid his dues, and he deserves it. He deserves the success that they have, and I really respect him for that.
Mhm. Yeah, I love them for what they did. There's all sorts of these bands trying to, okay, Dawkins getting back together, whatever, blah blah blah, through the years, and nothing happened. All of a sudden, Steel Panther comes along, and like they say in the song "That's All But Metal," heavy metal's back, and and it's largely because of them. So Eddie Trunk, I respectfully disagree with what he said.
I can see where he's coming from, but I wouldn't have put that as a match, as a tour match,
Right.
I think Judas Priest is a little bit heavier than Steel Panther is,
Oh yeah. I mean, and the songs that I've heard, we've got a caller. Hold on a second. Sniper.
Hello.
Who's this?
Hello.
We got a 402 area code here.
I'm not sure.
Oh, never mind. I did it again. This person wasn't in the queue. They're just listening on the phone. I do that all the time.
Oh.
The songs that I've heard off of their new album, Priest's new album, Redeemer of Souls.
Yeah.
They're going back to the Painkiller style sound, which I'm all for, because the last album they put out, I think was Nostradamus, and I wasn't into that. I didn't like that album. I think there was maybe only one or two good songs on the whole thing, and the rest of it was just blah. So everything I've heard off this new album, they've released 3 tracks off of it. It's really good. I mean, Priest is definitely back.
I gotta tell you, I'm happy that they didn't retire and they didn't give it up. I don't think we want to be in a world where Priest isn't putting out music or playing shows.
Metallica actually came out and gave Rob Halford a hard time for using a teleprompter.
Yeah.
And also saying that he had a problem with it when bands that said that they were retiring come out of retirement. Who the hell is Metallica saying anything to Judas Priest?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Judas Priest taught us everything, and you no room to say anything to that band.
Mm-hmm. And
except for good show.
Except for what?
Except for good show, and I love British Steel.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, I mean, I don't seem to recall Judas Priest ever doing an album with Lou Reed.
Yep. I don't recall Judas Priest putting out movies where people are crying or cutting their hair or
I mean that scene with Dave Mustaine in there, and I thought that Lars and Dave Mustaine were going to start crying and hold each other. Mm-hmm. It's just, that movie was painful to watch, and there was this other scene where we talked about rehearsing later, and that scared me. Shut up. But Judas Priest never did anything like that. I mean, if the worst thing that you can say about Judas Priest is hey, I didn't like the Nostradamus album, then I think they're doing a pretty damn good job. Now, yeah, we did a whole show a while back on the downfall of Metallica. It was we did like a 45-minute short show, and that was our topic. And yeah, we got pretty deep into the subject, and it was a pretty. It was around the time when Metallica had come out endorsing Justin Bieber. Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I don't see Judas Priest endorsing Justin Bieber either.
Yeah, it really. you know, that band, it was like, it stood for something. And granted, I wasn't old enough to really appreciate this, but looking back at it, you know, their first 4 albums stood for something, and stood for something in metal and rock and roll. And it was kind of like a calling card to all the people who didn't fit in with the glam, the punk. It was kind of, you know, they had the thrash crowd. And then when the Black Album came out, it kind of, it fractured everything, you know. It kind of made people stop. They didn't have anything to believe in anymore. And I think the farther they got, the more they just kept like grabbing on, trying to grab hold of something that for people to believe in, and it never worked out. It never had the same legitimate soul and emotion that the first 4 albums did.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, and the thing about it is, if the Black Album and the Load and Reload albums had been put out by anybody that wasn't called Metallica, those would be, you know, probably regarded as great metal albums, like like Demolition by Judas Priest. You know, with the second album with Ripper Owens on it. I mean, that's an incredible album. It's just not Judas Priest.
Yep. Yep, and I agree with you completely.
Yeah, I love Demolition. I think that's, you know, that album. I mean, I've owned 3 different CDs of that album because I would just wear the crap out of them. They'd get scratched up from, you know, being in the CD player for so long. Finally, you know, the last one that I got, I digitized it finally, and now it's MP3, so I don't have to worry about that again unless my MP3 player corrupts, which
you drop it in the water.
Yeah, or but yeah, that's an incredible album, but not Judas Priest, but
it's that age-old thing, like how do you replace a singer?
Well, Ripper Owens did a great job.
Yeah,
I think.
in his own, yeah.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't realize is that, you know, if you look at the credits, the album credits for the Jugulator album, Rob Halford's name is in some of, you know, like half the songs. Jugulator was going to be the next Priest album, regardless of whether it was Halford or Ripper singing. And a lot of people don't realize that. And, you know, Jugulator is hands down the heaviest album that Priest has ever put out. And people say, well, it sucks. It doesn't sound anything like. Well, would they have been saying that if nothing had happened and Rob Halford was the lead singer on it? I doubt it. They'd be like, dude, this is even better than Painkiller.
It's like a Motley Crue putting out the album with John Corabi. Well, what an amazing album that was! But it just didn't.
Yeah, I like
it. It didn't. It just wasn't well received at the time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was an awesome metal album, but it wasn't Motley Crue. But
the songs are good. It sounds amazing. Bob Rock produce it, I think.
I think so. Yeah, I know he did Dr. Feelgood, which is at the time was like one of the most amazing sounding albums of all time. But yeah, I think the only singer who's ever been replaced and, you know, not really got put through the ringer like Ripper Owens or John Corabi or whatever would have to be probably Todd LaTorre of Queensryche.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the fans have just, you know, because he did something that the fans have been begging for. He brought Queensryche back to making good metal music again. And that's what the fans been, you know, begging for so many years. But,
yep. I just watched this movie on. Have you seen that thing on Netflix about the singer for Journey?
No.
No, I'm not a big Journey fan at all by any means. But they basically did a documentary on. They went out and they found this new guy to sing Steve Perry's lines. And, you know, he's a younger guy that got long hair. He's running around. They basically pulled him out of the Philippines, I believe. Yeah, and the guy is amazing, and I watched this movie, and I go, I would never buy a Journey album. I watched this movie, and this guy's singing with such passion and charisma. I'm like, this is actually kind of cool now, you know. It's actually got this rock and roll vibe to it that I really enjoy.
I like Journey. You know, C. Perry's one of my favorite singers. And so I saw a video of a concert a while back. I got
What'd
it on
you think?
demand. It was incredible. I mean,
With the new guy?
yeah.
Yeah.
But the best performance of the show, though, ironically enough, wasn't Arnel Pineda. It was Dean Castronova singing "Still They Ride," which was incredible. That guy can sing too. The drummer.
Yeah. He's not the original drummer. Who did he play with?
He was with he was with
like a rock-
Bad English,
Yeah.
and I went to a Bad English concert years ago, and they were and I was like front row center, and I got a Dean Castronova drumstick.
Nice. Yeah, they were incredible. I just watched the show, and the guy, they revitalized the entire band by bringing in a new singer, which is completely unheard of.
Yeah. Our guests are here.
Okay.
Okay. They did. I was going to tell them to push 1 to get into the queue, and they just did. So we're going to go ahead and break, and we'll be right back on the Will and Thunder Show with Wicked. This is
The Will and Spade Show.
The Will and Spade Show. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
welcome back to the Will and Thunder Show, or the Will and Spade Show, as
There
as
you
we
go.
are tonight. The Will and Spade Show. That was High Roller by the band Wicked, and we've got them on with us right now. How's it going, bud?
How's it going, man? Hey.
Going great. Who is this?
We got Danny Dow, Chad Michael, Scotty V. Pretty much the whole band except for JP Clubs, our drummer. We don't really, we lost him tonight, so we don't really. He's somewhere out on the street, so he does crazy things.
Well,
like
actually, look around really good, because I mean he might be in there with you, in the room with you. You just might not be able to see him. I mean, looking at y'all's pictures and stuff, I mean he's a short guy.
Yeah.
you just might not be able to see him in there. Anyway, we got Spade from 3D in Your Face here with us tonight too. So say hi, Spade.
Hey, fellas, how's it going? How's it going, man? Hey. Nice to meet you. Doing very good. Very good. It's a pleasure to talk to you tonight.
Absolutely. So tell us about how the band came to be, everything, because you definitely got that nasty like power rock vibe that from the 70s or whatever. So how did you guys are pretty young, so how'd you wind up doing that?
It's kind of it's always been in our blood, you know. Chad and I are brothers, so we've always listened to like Kiss and AC/DC and David Bowie and stuff like that, and we were trying to put a band together, and it's kind of funny, we ran into our drummer at a music store, and that's kind of our manager to be pushed him onto us, and we started working with him, and the one missing link was getting a guitarist, and since we were a glam band, and that was kind of what we stood for, there's not many people who look glam nowadays, so it was a difficult road to not only find a good guitarist, but one who could look the part, and it honestly was kind of like online dating. We had to find Scotty V online, and it's pretty interesting, but the craziest guitar player. Did you go on, like, dates and stuff? I always wondered about that online dating thing. Yeah, it's like they used to have this thing called Glam Nation. It was a site where a lot of rockers were on back in the day, at MySpace days.
I gotcha.
So was he from your area? Yeah, he was in New York State. He was just a couple hours away from us, so once we got him, we all kind of got in a place together, apartment, and moved in. But we would frequent the clubs down in the Lower East Side of New York City. There was like back a couple of years ago, there's a pretty strong like sleaze rock movement down there, and that was kind of like our hangout, with Samuel Valentine and a bunch of those guys who promote shows and stuff, and it was a good time. We always used to go to the clubs like White Noise and stuff down on Avenue B and stuff like that, and it was cool to hear like sleaze music and old 80s music playing and metal, rock, so.
Hey, you guys are very lucky. We don't really have anything like that here in Nebraska.
There's nothing like that.
No,
that's why you need bands like us to come through and play.
No glam bands in Nebraska there, Spade?
No, we are actually the only one, I think. That's crazy. I know, right? I mean, there's a lot of cover bands and a lot of bands that are trying to do stuff, but I think we're the only ones. I feel like that makes it better, though. Like, we were just down in Oklahoma at Rocklahoma Festival, and, whenever we go down south and, like, out into the Midwest and stuff, kind of like you're talking about, it seems like people appreciate it more just because there is such a lack of. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like the small towns, they don't get that kind of that energy and vibe every day. So when you're in town, they go crazy. Right. Yeah, we love that kind of stuff.
I think that that act is going to go over well, regardless of where it is, just because of the fact that you don't see anything like that. And like we were talking about in the warm-up segment, where about Steel Panther. Steel Panther, as good as they are, they're a gimmick. They're a parody. Whereas 3D in Your Face and You Guys and Scarlet Gypsy, those are the real deal. They actually are a glam band. They live the life. They don't they don't put on wigs and everything and
it's like an everyday commitment. I mean, people kind of find it strange, but we always tell them in interviews and stuff, this is how we are 24/7. We walk the streets, day to day like this, dressed like this, eyeliner and our hair done and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
But if you guys ever wind up playing in Nebraska, I'm sure Spade could hook you up with his hairdresser.
She's the best. She's a very lovely lady. She's good with the blonde.
So, how long has the band been together?
We've been together for about 2.5 years now. It's actually kind of a short amount of time, considering what we've accomplished in a few years. We've been to Rocklahoma twice, and we played with a bunch of cool acts like John Waite, Survivor, a couple times with Spread Eagle. Those guys are cool from New York City, and Crash Diet, and then a slew of bands that have been at the Rocklahoma Festival. So we feel like we're definitely breaking some ground, and in a short amount of time, and it's like we have a blast doing it, but it's like a second job. I mean, we honestly knuckle down and write all our own songs and work as like a one whole unit, and it's like a machine. So, but it's a fucking blast. So
very cool. I totally I really dig the singer's voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Also got that kind of reminds me of Tracy Downs from LA Guns. The high kind of I dig that voice. I mean, I'm a singer too, but I don't know how to sing that style. I've got the range, I just don't have the ability.
Yeah, I mean, it's like since Danny and I have been starting the band, like when we were younger, I've always been trying to sing like at a high range. I always loved that like raspy high range voice, so that's what I was shooting for.
Guess you got a couple different several different styles of people that you've got the nasty kind of raspy high range like you have, and then you've got like the real smooth high, like I don't know, like the guy from TNT, Tony Harnell or something like that. And and then you've got the rough type stuff like Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. That's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, I have yet to run across a singer that can do all three styles.
Thanks.
I was definitely getting a Paul Stanley vibe there. I love that. I guess I was watching one of your videos, and you were playing a Washburn. Was that the Iceman?
Oh yeah. I mean, Paul Stanley. He's been like my idol since I was really young. I would always like go on the computer and like watch videos of how he moves and how he talks to the crowd, and I would imitate him like right in front of the screen. And like I think that's like one of the biggest things that I started growing up with and idolizing him. Actually, that guitar was given by our manager, and he got it back in the day from the original guy who started making those cracked mirror guitars for Paul Stanley and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely could see it. I'm a huge Kiss fan too, so it was like I was watching him going, "Yep, he's got it. He's got the Paul Stanley thing going on," which I think Paul is the best entertainer and the best frontman that there is in rock and roll. In my honest opinion.
Oh hell yeah.
So is that a Washburn or is that an Ibanez?
It's an Ibanez, but it's like styled like a Washburn.
Yeah, I had an Iceman way back in the day.
I love the Icemen. They, I don't know, just something about them. They feel really good. They got a good, too, you know.
I'm sorry.
They got a good sound for the rhythm guitar too.
No, I kind of got to, I kind of got to bust your balls here a little bit. I mean, those pictures and everything. I know that your drummer is not that short, and I know it looks like that because of the platform boot. But what does he not want to wear platforms for the fixtures?
Well, we figured that if we keep it real, obviously he's not going to play him playing drums and stuff, and you could kind of tell by his style. He's like the oddball kind of guy. Definitely the rebel of the group. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. JP's always been, has that punk edge, and it's kind of in his attitude and his, the way he is. A little background on JP: he actually had a brain tumor when he was 13. He's a survivor, and that kid, 1 minute he'll be like the quietest kid, and you're like, what is up with this guy? And then the next minute he's just fucking, he's letting loose, and you just don't expect it. And that's just like his personality, He's that oddball punk rocker kind of, off the wall guy.
Yeah, I just think it's, I just think it looks funny. It's like, the three of you guys just towering over him, like my co-host who is not here tonight. His name is Thunder, but me and him used to play in bands years ago, and he was the bass player. But he's like 5'4", 5'5", something like that, 5'6". And our guitar player, just out of the blue one day, he was playing on the bass and everything. Of course, bass guitars, the bass is almost as big as he is, and he was really jamming this lick that he'd come up with. And the guitar player, he stopped, and the guitar player says, look at the little thunder midget over there. and that became his name, Thunder Midget, and that and it stuck. And then when we started doing the show, we just decided to shorten it and call him Thunder. But yeah, I mean, he plays drums, so he's a Thunder Midget too.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned midgets, because we all kind of have phobias in the band of our own, and that's actually mine. It's nothing personal, but it's just like it's so weird, because like our manager's a ball breaker, and he'll single us out and like really go to the end of the world to kind of like break our balls and like play into our phobias. And there's been countless shows that like he's just gotten like random like midgets, to show up.
Like backstage, just come
backstage, right in front of the stage, like in front of me.
I got two, styrofoam and bees. I can't be around styrofoam.
I can understand the bees.
I know, it's weird.
My phobia, those inflatable advertising things that sway back and forth, and the arms and
car dealerships.
Yeah, those things freak me out. When I was a kid,
I got caught.
when I was a kid, I was walking down. I was walking with my mom, and we walked by one of those things, and happened to go by right as they turned it off, and the damn thing fell on me. I look up, and all I see is this huge freaky face coming at me. And I was scarred for life, because now every time I see one of those damn things, I get a little nervous. And get that fucking thing away from me.
So here's my question for you. I got to know, what was Rocklahoma like? I've always wanted to go there, and it's a couple states away from me, and it just seems like the biggest rock and roll party that you could possibly be at. What was your the good? I want the good, the bad, whatever you got.
I mean, it honestly is like one huge, like, chaotic party. Like, there's just seas of people, and like, it's kind of funny because, like one moment you'll see people like flying by in pickup trucks through the campground, like all in the back of it, you know, drinking and like screaming and yelling, and you know, the next minute you'll see one of those guys maybe like a couple hours later just like laying face down in the ground. People are taking pictures of them, but you know, it gets pretty crazy and it's a lot of fun. The best way to do it is to camp right there. You know, some people stay at hotels and stuff, but if anybody was ever to go to Rocklahoma, I'd suggest camping right on the campground, whether it's general admission or VIP. That's where the party's at. And
how long were you guys there for?
We were there the 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah, usually we'll do like a pre-party show, and then we'll have our main stage event. We were on the retrospect stage, thanks to Sammy McAllister for that.
Very cool.
Yeah, actually, I was friends with him on Facebook. It just looked like I kind of saw his recap, like the video recapture, and it looked like it was just a blast.
Oh yeah, it's a great time, and it's kind of a cool competition too, because you got the 3 stages running. You know, the main stage in the middle, and then you know you got the 2 the stages on the side, which is retrospect off to the right, and then off to the left is hard rock, and it's kind of funny because the hard rock usually has more modern acts, and it's always like the retro bands kind of trying to, you know, fight for, you know, what we believe in and bring back that old school rock and roll vibe. It's a cool feeling, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if there's like any animosity there, or like do you guys get in any fights, or do bands fight, or egos or anything?
Honestly, the 2 years we've been there, we haven't really seen any fights or anything like that. You know, there's definitely a competition between the 2 stages and stuff like that, but, you know, I mean, we'll go into the press tent, which is a really cool feature of Rocklahoma, and, you know, the first year we're in there and we're doing interviews, and, you know, you look over to your left and there's Hailstorm, and, you know, we start shooting the shit with them, and it's kind of cool, you know what I mean? It's a little bit different vibe, but, you know, it's a lot of fun, definitely, all the time there. And
so you guys were there this past one and the one before that?
yeah.
Did you meet the guys from King Shifter?
Yeah, those guys are actually kind of cool. We met them the first year.
Yeah, they were our very first guest on the Will and Thunder show.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they were the very first time, the very first, I guess you could call it our debut show, that they were our guest, because I had reviewed their album for a website that I write for called indiemusic.co, and
all right, yeah.
got in touch with them, and they just, you know, they were more than happy to come on the show. They were awesome, and great guys, and I've thought about, you know, dropping them a message, inviting them to come on again at some point.
Yeah, those guys are definitely cool. We remember seeing them because they had like kind of like that Team Unity look like we did when we were there. You know, when you get to Rocklahoma, it's like the best thing to do if like you know how to work your circumstances is get out there, boots to the street, and really, you know, promote, and, like, hand out flyers, meet people, you know, party with them and get to know them, and, you know, that's the way to get them to your show, and it's what made us successful at Rocklahoma, and we noticed them out there, too, you know, wearing their, you know, patched up denim vests and stuff, and, you know, we thought it was pretty cool that they were on the same tip.
Yeah, well, are you familiar with them, Spade?
Not really. Kind of. I would say kind of.
Okay, because they're from the Midwest area. So I mean, they're I'm sure they've played Omaha several times. But they're like a biker band. They're like really heavy blues, you know, blues oriented heavy music, like groove. But their singer is this huge black guy, and their guitar player is this fat guy that's got a white ZZ Top beard.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're just amazing band. I have yet to see them in concert, but they're on my list. I do want to catch them at some point. So, are you guys? Yeah, you mentioned that you've gone down. You said you go down to the south. Where all have you? What's the farthest away from home other than Rocklahoma that you've played? Like, what's the farthest south that you've been?
Actually, Rocklahoma is the farthest south so far that we've been. We stopped in Ohio before and St. Louis and stuff like that, but we're planning on heading back out this coming fall after our release in August for our new album, and we'll be out supporting our new live album, Like Alive. We'll probably head down south, and we're going to do an East Coast segment of it, and then eventually West Coast. So.
Cool. When you get that album out, you need to get me an advanced copy of it so I can review it for you.
Oh, absolutely. We're actually putting it out on vinyl initially, so I hope you have a turntable.
You could send me the MP3s. I don't think a vinyl record would fit in my cell phone. Okay, that was bad. So, I mean, are you guys booked to do the Rocklahoma again, like next year?
Yeah, actually, we're invited back. Right now, we have a bunch of different offers between some West Coast dates and possibly South by Southwest. So we're kind of trying to put our schedule together for next year, and you know how it goes, doing it ahead of time and stuff like that, and getting everything together. So that'll definitely be something that we'll be posting about in the coming months. But we're pretty excited. You know, every summer it ramps up even more. You know.
Mm-hmm. I thought that you had a Kickstarter, like a crowdfunded. Like your fans funded you to get down there.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool thing we did this year. You know, we went down the first year. We got an RV to pull our trailer. Cause I don't know if you've seen the pictures. You see that our stage show it involves like several stacks of amps on each side, and we got the drum kit and riser and everything with the fog and the lights and whatnot. But we had it down the first year, and a lot of people don't know like what an investment it is. Just to go down and do like a festival, just one festival like Rocklahoma, let alone other shows. And our fans really kind of pulled through this time, this year for us, and we did the Kickstarter, and it was awesome. They got a lot of cool prizes and incentives, that you wouldn't typically get, and it was a great help. It got us down there, and it really was. For us to give back to them, we didn't really gain from it. It was, purely gas money and stuff like that. And, but we can't thank them enough. So it was great to have their support.
Very cool.
There's a festival that takes place in my hometown, Brevard County, Florida. This is the second year of its existence. It's called 80s in the Park. You guys might want to get on that because this year they've got like Enough's Enough is there, Pastor Cat, Great White, whole bunch more. It's like a 3-day event where you can. It's a lot like Rocklahoma. I think that over the next couple of years it's gonna wind up becoming as big as Rocklahoma. More than likely. But maybe you guys want to look
about it.
I'm sorry?
It's funny that you mentioned that because I actually did hear about it this past year.
Yeah, it's in September, and there's only one local act on the bill, and they're opening the whole thing on the main stage on Friday. And we've been Thunder and I have been invited to come down and hang with them and as their guest and everything, and cover the event for the show and for my blog and whatnot. So that's I don't know if 50-50 chance of whether I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm really hoping to be able to, because it really is going to wind up being as big as Rocklahoma, especially because it's in Florida. So
yeah, I can imagine.
Let's go ahead and take a break and play another song. Any one in particular you want to hear?
What's spinning, man?
Huh? Well, I have Nightmare and Rock It Roll It. You pick which one.
Do some Nightmare.
All right. Nightmare it is, and we'll be right back on the Will and Spade show.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Will and Spade show. Our studio audience, man, they love you guys. That song kind of had a little kind of, and don't think that I'm saying it sounds like anybody, because it doesn't. I mean, it sounds original, but it kind of had a little Triumph vibe.
Oh yeah, I'll dig that.
Yeah, Rick Emmett's an amazing guitar player. But yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. It kind of reminded me of one of the, I can't remember which song, but it just something off of that breakout album with Lay It on the Line and Magic Power and all that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I got one for you here.
Okay.
What made you guys decide on the image that you're putting out there right now, like the white leather, it's the blonde hair? What made you, as a group effort, decide to go in that direction? And what is the response like when you walk out on the stage looking like that? It's actually kind of funny because if you've seen older pictures, we originally were in black leather with boots and stuff, and we had all our stuff custom made and everything originally, and it was kind of coming across a little bit like people were noticing like kind of like a Motley Crue kind of look.
Right.
It really wasn't. We love Motley Crue and everything, but it really wasn't what we were about. But that was kind of our origins. We came from like that kind of punk like feel, like in the beginning, hanging out in New York City and stuff. And but we've always wanted to like kind of progress our music towards that old school glam, Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie, like 70s kind of rock and roll. And that's where it was headed. So we figured we needed the outfits to kind of support it. And we learned how to actually make leather outfits ourselves, sewing and studying and things. I'll tell you, it was a crazy undertaking, but it's kind of cool, to have that craft in your back pocket as well. In terms of response, we actually debuted them at Rocklahoma this year, and no one really knew it was going to happen. There was just a little bit of transitional changes in some of the clothes we were currently wearing, and with the shows leading up, and then all of a sudden we hit the stage, and we were in all white with platform shoes that were even taller than before. We went from 4 inches to 7 inches, and I think people were kind of like, standing out in the crowd with their mouths open, like, holy shit, we didn't expect this, but it was a cool feeling.
I mean, it's very cool to represent that, and people listen with their eyes, and especially in the music that we do, dressing like you're in a fucking rock and roll band. It makes it up. I think in the end of the day, your music has to stand up as well to your image, and I think you guys really, really do that well. I really dig the tunes. I think you're playing rock and roll music for people who enjoy rock and roll. I think you're doing a great job.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree, and Spade here from 3D in Your Face. I mean, they're a great band. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. But
we actually were checking them out today. We were totally digging it.
Yeah, thank you.
They're I liked them enough to have Spade here come on as a guest host in Thunder's absence. So that says something. But so you said that you actually made those outfits?
Yeah. Originally, we were getting our outfits custom made, and we took a few tips here and there, and we kind of like knuckled down trying to learn how to do it, and we learned some of the tricks of the trade and invested a little bit. We got an old Singer sewing machine and some mallets and different leather punches and stuff like that. And my brother takes the lead in that, Chad. He's always the one, he learned how to do the hair and the makeup, and now he's onto the leather kick, and he just kind of trains us to help him along in it's like a little operation, We spent like a couple of months, and we designed all the clothes on paper and then started building them,
Now, have you ever had any wardrobe malfunctions?
Oh, there's actually a pretty good story behind that.
Hold on. Before you do that, we have this brings up a little segment. We call this the Spinal Tap moment segment, where you tell us about your Spinal Tap moments, and this definitely falls into that category. Got a little intro to it here.
Excellent.
These go to 11. Good card, Fred, Zach.
Spinal Tap, check.
What's wrong with being sexy?
He died. He died in a bizarre gardening accident. Thousands of people spontaneously combust each year.
Hello, Cleveland! Hello, Cleveland!
So anyway, wardrobe malfunction.
Oh yeah. As I said, there's a pretty funny story that goes along with that. With the nature of making your own clothes and it being leather and animal hide, of course it's going to malfunction. And with our black outfits, at that
during that time period, we were really heavy in the New York City area and playing a lot at like clubs like Webster Hall and stuff. And Samuel Valentine was putting on this kind of concert series called Riot Avenue. A little throwback to Crazy Licks there, and we were headlining one night down there in New York City. And at the end of the show, you know, we played, and it always gets crazy in New York. You know, you got everybody's like pouring alcohol bottles in each other's mouths, and you know, it's wall to wall, people with tattoos and dyed hair, spiked up, and piercings. It's, you know, it's honestly like a flashback. But you know, at the end of the show, we had this whole contest that we were involved in, and these 4 girls were in a contest, you know, striptease contest to see who could strip the best or who could entertain the crowd the best, you know, at our expense in a sense. And we were sitting on 4 chairs on the stage, and whoever won, you know, won a, you know, cash prize or whatever. So they're going down the line, and I'm the last guy sitting in the seat, and you know, who's got a hot girl, who's got some, like, you know, big girl, and we're all laughing and everything. And finally they get to me, and my girl wins because she took her top off. Well, she was such a bad dancer and did such a bad lap dance that, like, she was, like, I don't even know what she was doing. She was, like smashing into me, and it was, like, just, like, it was like a beating, really. And by the end of it all, I realized, like, in total embarrassment that my leather pants had totally ripped out in the ass completely. And we don't wear anything underneath our leather pants, naturally. And so, like, I was just, like, you know, kind of, like, you know, pacing through my mind trying to think, like, how the hell do I get off of the stage at this point in time with this situation? You know what I mean? So it was, like, kind of like one of those, like, cartoons, you know, I kind of, like, you know, oh, yeah, thank you, everybody, and I kind of, like, shimmied off, like, with a sidestep and shuffled off the stage, like, holding my pants on. But, you know, everybody could tell that it was hilarious.
I had a similar experience. I was in this band, and it was actually the last band that I was in, playing at this huge club in Nashville, and my guitar player had, you know, he bought me a pair of those pleather pants, and you know, he wanted me to, you know, I was wearing black jeans on stage, and they're, you know, they're kind of faded, but he told me the same thing. He's like, you don't want to, you know, you don't want to wear underwear with these. So of course I do my thing, and well, I had this. I was the lead singer, but I also played guitar, and I soloed too. Well, there was this solo that I did, and I dropped down to my knees and leaned back to do the solo, and all of a sudden it ripped right in the crotch, and I'm just hanging out there for all to see. And you know, all of a sudden I felt a whoosh of cold air down there, and I just I know. I was like, what the hell? So I just lowered my guitar down, you know, lowered my guitar strap and covered it up with my guitar and finished the show. Although there was this one girl, apparently she liked what she saw, because I wound up, you know, she wanted to try the, she wanted to take it home and try it, basically. So, but yeah, that's funny. I mean, you know, and I never wore those again, obviously. For one thing, I wore them. That was the first time I had ever worn them, and the last time I had ever worn them. Because, I mean, for one thing, they're just hot as hell.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially at, you know, a festival like Rocklahoma, where it's like 95 degrees and, you know, under the beating sun.
Well, at least you're wearing white that's supposed to reflect the sunlight rather than absorb it like black does.
It was a little bit better, but I feel like I was wearing like an Eskimo suit. Yeah, I can't say much for
it. Any more Spinal Tap moments? Like, did you have a drummer spontaneously combust or die of the heart?
It's funny you say that, because we're just in the studio this past weekend tracking more new tunes. We do that frequently. Like, we have this actually pretty cool studio upstate New York where we like to go, and whenever we have a new batch of songs, we'll go to this place. It's called Subcat Studios,
and the owner's a really cool guy, and we get in there, and we get it busted out in a couple hours. But our drummer's going through the song, and then all of a sudden I look over at him, and we like to cut them kind of live all together for our scratch tracks and everything. And I'm like, hey, JP, like, how's it going, man? You feeling good? You feeling good about this? And, like, he didn't say anything to me. He just, like, started to look over his shoulder, and he just fell and, like, completely took out the whole drum kit. All the microphones are down. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Slow motion.
Yeah, it was like slow motion. It was almost like it took like a couple of years to happen. I was like, what is going on, man?
In one of my first bands, we had a drummer who wanted a cage so bad, but he couldn't afford one, so he decides he's going to make his own cage out of PVC pipe. And so he's got it and everything, and we're doing this show, and the drum platform is a bunch of folding tables. That's all there was. And so he's playing it and everything. All of a sudden, at one point in the song, you're talking about slow motion. He stopped playing, and I turned around, to see what was going on, and I just saw this thing in slow motion just collapse, and it landed on an Ovation acoustic guitar.
Oh my God!
that was the worst. The worst thing about it was the guitar didn't belong to us.
Oh, there you go.
We were like 17, 18 years old at the time.
Oh God!
So you guys said you were putting out a live album soon?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of cool because we're kind of going with that whole old school vibe and, like, kind of trying to show that, what we play, on stage is exactly what you're going to hear, you know what I mean? It's not going to be overproduced, and then you're going to get to a concert and, hear something different and lesser. So we've been recording a bunch of our live shows, and we put them together, and we've come up with this really, unbelievable live album, and it's called Life Alive. And it should be out sometime this August, and we're super proud of it. It's some of our best work. Our previous release was called Origins, and it was exactly that. It was, cut in the studio, and it was some of our early tracks that, kind of who we were in the era of the black leather and everything, and, Life Alive is kind of, the next step, the next generation, more of that, kind of like, old school 70s rock and roll, upbeat, and it's just going to be an awesome release, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, I just finished up reading the new Kiss book that was out. Is like Nothing to Lose is what it's called, and they kind of chronicle the band, like the first 5 years of the band or whatever, up to Alive, and how amazing, how Alive broke the band, and how that album pretty much defined what Kiss was. It was a make or break album for Kiss. I always thought it would be amazing to put in a live album out. People just don't really do it like they used to do it anymore.
Yeah, and that's kind of like our, our mindset behind it is that, with all of us, glam bands and everything, we kind of, we're all different in our own ways, but we kind of all stand for that, that outcast kind of breaking the molds of society and what it is today kind of thing. And, one of the things that we see is that, there hasn't been really live albums put out. And, it's kind of like going against the grain and, kind of proving ourselves. So, what we found when we kind of put it together and, finished it up recently is that, it's full of energy, some of that energy that's lacking in other, music that you hear on the radio nowadays. So we're really hoping that, that's going to be well received and come across, and we're excited about it.
And were you met with any, resistance? Was anybody like, you're crazy for putting out a live album?
Honestly, everybody that we've talked to are kind of excited about it. There's people out there who are like, there's that whole, that whole thing going on right now, and it was a little bit more in the last couple of years where, music videos were huge, and, it was kind of like a competition. Who put out the last music video? Someone got a new one with the hottest girl in it, and, those are awesome, and those definitely do their thing, but, we're trying to keep that,
that interest and that mystique about us right now. We are only 2.5 years into the band, and we think that this is gonna, this is the next step for us, and it'll show exactly like what we are all about, and that's our live show, with the amps or with the energy and the, the boots and the outfits and everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, live albums are, they're it's funny you mentioned that because I'd never thought about that before, but you're right, it is kind of like a lost art. I mean, these days, there's actually a band here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where I am, and they put out a live album, and it sounded like it was just something that somebody had recorded with a cell phone, and then just took the audio and slapped the label on it and said, here's our live album.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely was no Live After Death, that's for damn sure. Which, of course, was the best live album of all time.
But, I mean, in the end, you're like, if I'm looking through a band's catalog, like, well, what do I got to pick? I don't know any of these albums. There's first, second, third album. You automatically go to that live album and go, this is going to be the best of what they have to offer in the setting that they know. It's like controlled chaos on tape. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
I agree. I do too. Hey, we've got a caller here from your area code. We'll bring them on right now.
Awesome.
315, go. Who's this?
Hi, it's Sammy.
Hello,
Hi.
Sammy.
How's it going?
It's fine. I love listening to you guys.
The Will and Thunder show or Wicked?
To Wicked. This is the first time I've listened to your guys' show.
I know. I was just picking on you. So, do you go to all their shows?
In reason. The ones that are far away, I don't know. I wish.
Well, they're local shows.
You have a question for the guys.
Yeah.
I do. Okay, so my
Okay,
question
go ahead.
is, all right, out of everybody in the band, who is the highest maintenance and takes the longest to get ready for shows?
Good question.
That is a good question.
Chad.
I don't know, Will or Stan, do you guys have any kind of guesses on that? Because I feel like this is an easy one, but
It's always
I think
the bass
it's Scotty.
player.
Scotty just looks like a princess.
No.
well, actually, it's Chad, our singer. We have this long-running joke that he's got that lead singer syndrome. We call him the last man out, basically, because he is literally always late and the last person to be ready for anything.
I would imagine that Spade here I would imagine that Spade here probably takes the longest with his band 3D in Your Face.
Oh yeah, it's like an hour-and-a-half process before every show. you guys know how it is.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's actually kind of funny because we break him on Chad for being the longest, but it's basically because he does all of our hair and makeup for us. And then he's left, not ready.
Oh, so he makes you guys look good, but his look suffers for it. I see how you guys are.
Yeah. Somebody understands me.
Well, you have any other questions for the guys?
I don't think so. I think I'm just going to listen.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks,
we
Danny.
don't get calls very often, so we like to give them the ultimate Will and Thunder experience, and it's even that's because it's the Will and Spade experience.
Yes.
I don't think I could have sounded any creepier to you.
I like that. That was the first time I ever got a caller. I've been doing a radio show, but it's all taped live, or taped, so I never get to take live callers. It was the first one. I appreciate that.
That was the first one?
That was my first caller. First-time caller, long-time listener.
She sounds pretty cute too.
Thanks.
Do you guys know who she is?
Yeah, she is cute.
I know.
So, what while we got you on the phone here, is there one particular moment that at their shows that sticks out in your mind, and tell us about it?
Like during the show or after the show?
Uh-oh, wow. Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Oh, no.
You'll talk about Fight Club outside of Fight Club.
I think one of my favorite moments is the most recent show that I went to. I had recently bought a pair of white platform boots, and I show up, and the guys just started flipping out of them.
They didn't try to steal them, did they?
I don't know if they would fit. I have kind of small feet.
Well, the drummer needs a platform.
You know what they say about girls with small feet?
What's that?
I don't know. Small feet, small platform boots.
All right. Well, thank you for calling, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you guys.
We
I love you guys.
We don't get phone calls very often, so it's kind of like a new experience for me too. So, like the two times that you guys were on 3D in your face, I don't think we got one caller, did we?
No, I don't think we did. Our family must be shy. I don't understand. You guys got some wild fans. That's good.
What was your name again, ma'am?
Sammy.
Tammy? Could
Sammy.
you do me a favor?
Sure.
I want to make a promo drop here. Could you say in your most seductive voice possible? Could you say I love the Will and Thunder Show?
I love the Will and Thunder Show.
Excellent.
Jeez,
that's gonna be on our theme music for next week's show. Yeah, our studio audience loved that. So, how many times? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask you guys what bands, kind of like what we're going through right now, as well as you guys, is there's this big glam rock revival, and bands coming from Sweden and from right here in the States. Your band, our band. What are some of the bands that are influencing you right now and that are kind of doing it and that are inspiring you guys to still make music?
Actually, that's kind of a cool question. Of course, there's that huge competition thing, but like in terms of bands over in Sweden, that's kind of like, when we were growing up, we were into the old school bands and stuff, but yet there was a leakage of, the mid, 2005s and 6s of what was going on, Crash Diets of the world and whatnot. And we always thought those guys were kind of cool. And we ended up getting to play with them in New York, which was cool. But some of our favorites are actually some of those old, like, kind of rock vibe bands like the Helicopters. In conjunction with that, the Backyard Babies with more of that punk edge, who were Helicopters. We love those two bands, from Sweden. We really dig their, their music and their vibe. It's kind of an inspiration, which is cool from new bands, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I feel you. Like, we opened for Backyard Babies, the band that I was in when I was 18 opened for Backyard Babies in a punk rock club in Des Moines. And we actually had to, they made us play in front of the stage because they had so much equipment. equipment and stuff. But it was an amazing, like, first night of our tour, we were opening for the Backyard Babies, and it was wonderful. You know, they just destroyed the place. And I was like, it changed everything.
Yeah, when we played with Crash Diet in New York City, you know, it was kind of like one of those things, like, shit, you know, finally we're going to meet Crash Diet, you know. It's been so long, we've always wanted to go and see their show, and then, you know, the years went by, and we created our own band, our own version of what we liked, and, you know, here we are, we're going to play with them, and we get down there, and we're, you know, doing what you would naturally do in New York City, you know, dressing in the girls' bathroom, and, you know, doing your hair, and, like, you know, putting on the, you know, the leather and the platform boots, and they were out and backstage with us before our show, and it was crazy, you know, having Peter London and Simon Cruz standing there just telling you, like, you know, gawking over your clothes and, like, your image and saying, like, shit, that's so cool. Like, I could never pull out. You know, Simon was telling us how he tried wearing heels one time and he couldn't pull it off. And, you know, it was kind of a cool thing to take away, you know, hear these guys that you were watching when you were a kid, and now they're looking at you, like, saying, like, you know, that's pretty fucking cool, you know, and, you know, digging what you do, so.
Yeah, and I think Crash Diet kind of revitalized this whole thing and put energy back into the music that we're creating, you know, mainstream wise. And I remember, like, when they came to New York, and I was kind of following it from here in Nebraska. I'm like, holy shit, these guys are actually in the States, let alone, you know, playing. I think it was very cool. And for you guys to open, it had to be just wild.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. You're talking about the Sweden bands. Have you heard of a band called Confess?
Yeah, definitely. We've heard of them.
Yeah, they're. I reviewed them for Sleaze Rocks, and I'm working on trying to get them on the show at some point. We're like exchanging emails. We're at the beginning phases of trying to get them on. They're interested, but you know, email back and forth. Probably do that dance about 10 or 12 times before we actually get them on.
Yeah.
But
they're cool though.
But I love their album. It's called Jail, and it's kind of like a Skid Row style metal, like the heavier than than Poison type and everything, but with more of an attitude. A lot like Skid Row.
Yeah.
We had somebody else that was calling in. Okay, they're back. We're gonna go ahead and bring them on. We got another caller. Oh my God. 570 area code. You're on.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Kira.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. I am listening to your guys' show on Facebook because I sadly don't have like cable or anything, so I listen to your radio thing. And I actually asked if I could still call because I kind of caught in late because I was busy. But I mainly wanted to call and ask 2 questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. My first question is, I would love to know if Wicked remembers meeting me at Rocklahoma Hall of Fame back in May.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was such a weird experience because I didn't even expect them to be there. I had no idea. I was on my marching band trip, and I see these guys at the Rocklahoma Hall of Fame, and I was like, oh, wow, they're all really cute. I've never even seen them in my life or heard of them, and I kind of felt that. And then I get one of them, I'm honestly not sure which one because I didn't know all your names in the beginning, came up to me and my one friend and gave me their card, and I was, like, in shock. And, afterwards, I was trying to put my money back in my wallet when we were leaving, and my friend decided to pull me up to them and be like, hey, my friend wants to take a picture with you. And I'm like, hold on a minute. I didn't want to take a picture, and I got my pictures posted on Facebook. So I'm glad you guys remember.
Cool.
And my second question is, how long have you guys been really into doing music?
Well, it's kind of been like a thing we've been doing for most of our life. Chad and I started music when we were really young, about 5 years old, and I think Scotty as well. Scotty was always on guitar, but Chad and I started playing like the sax when we were younger, so we kind of had that like old school jazzy bluesy thing going on, and
and then we got into guitar and bass and singing and stuff like that. But it's always been in our blood and in our family.
That's awesome, because I love singing myself. I mean, I'm not famous or anything, but I have videos on YouTube, and I try to see what people think, and I've actually been told I should try out for singing shows and stuff, and I don't know if I'm that good, but...
Well, post a link to on the Facebook page for this show. Post those links for. I mean, I'm a musician, so is Spade here, and of course the guys in the band as well. So I mean, right now you've got like five guys who all know music. So we'll let you know.
All right, that would be great. I will admit they're mainly more of ballads because I was told that like love songs and ballads really soothe my voice. So I know you guys are more for like the hard rock stuff, but
Cool. Nothing wrong with ballads. Don't let anybody tell you that.
All right, I will definitely post a video now that you are willing to watch. That actually means a lot.
Yeah, we'll watch. We'll let you know. All right. Anything else you want to ask them?
I don't really have anything else to ask, but your show is great. I'll be watching it more often, and Wicked, you guys rock. I love you guys so much, and I really hope I could see one of your concerts in the future.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. You have a good one.
All right, you too.
Thanks.
No problem, bye.
Okay, we're gonna. Wow, two awesome callers right in a row. We're gonna go. Let's go ahead and break, and we'll play the last song, which is "Rock It, Roll It," and we'll be right back on the Will and Thunder Show, Will and Spade Show.
Will.
My blood can't seem
right, welcome back to the Will and Thunder Show. That was Rock and Roll It by the band Wicked. Another awesome tune, guys.
Thank you.
I like. I think my favorite part of that particular song is the little lead into the guitar solo, where the lead guitar is kind of mimicking what the rhythm guitar is doing there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Lead guitar, twin guitar playing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we try to implement that into a lot of our songs, like the Thin Lizzy style guitars with the twin guitars going, like in the breakdown there, the solo. It's like just one of those things that we love doing, type guitar theme.
Well, it definitely, I love twin guitar. I mean, like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest are two of my favorite bands, and they're two of the masters at it.
And the Rat, like Warren DeMartini and
Robin Crosby. Well,
Yep.
It's not Robin Crosby anymore, is it?
Yeah.
It's not even Rat anymore. Stephen Pearcy's got himself kicked out again.
Yeah, I know.
But never understood why these people, you can't just get along. I mean, nobody wants to go see Stephen Pearcy of Rat, and nobody wants to go see Rat without Stephen Pearcy.
I know, right? Absolutely.
So what's the next project after? I mean, how far ahead are your plans at the moment? As far as I know you got the studio album and the live album coming out. The studio album's coming out in August, you said, right?
Actually, that's the live album. The studio album had come out winter, and that was a limited release. We only printed 300 copies of that, so it was kind of, if you got one, that's it, because you won't get another one. So that was Origins. But the live album will be out this August.
Oh, okay. And tell everybody where they can find your social media, where they can buy the album when it does come out. And I mean, can you pre-order the album?
You can message the Facebook page right now. There's no pre-order set up, but if you go to either our Facebook, which is www.facebook.com/thebandwicked, or you could visit our website, which is www.wickedrockandroll.com. That's rock and roll. And you could find any information on there, anything from merch to upcoming releases and, news, reviews of what we've been doing and what we're going to be doing. So there's also some tracks on there, and our EPK for anybody who's interested in shows and, any of our statistics on there. So.
Oh, very cool. I was talking to Spade a little while ago. We've had on 3D in Your Face before. We also had on another glam act called Scarlet Gypsy. They're out of Pennsylvania. I was telling Spade that there needs to be a Wicked 3D in Your Face and Scarlet Gypsy show at some point somewhere.
Oh, that'd be yeah.
That would be freaking
Bags
awesome.
are packed.
So, how many people did you have in front of you at the Rocklahoma gigs?
Oh, not knowing for sure. I mean, it was a couple thousand. But the cool thing is that like I said, you got to really kind of work for it when you're on one of the stages that aren't the main stage, and by going out, we kind of set the precedent the first year, and Sammy McAllister relayed that message to other new bands this following year, and we hit the grounds, and we met people, and we handed out flyers, and to see your hard work kind of flourish, and step up on stage, and you look out, and there's that sea of people, all the way outside of the tent, and cheering for you and everything. It's really a cool feeling, you know what I mean? It's like what you watch on, you know, the music videos and on TV and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, there's nothing like that feeling. Nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't get that feeling from any drug. You can't. There's nothing else that compares to just watching just dominating a huge crowd like that and just knocking the crap out of them. I mean, that's just,
absolutely. It was even cooler the second year around because we went out again and we did well for ourselves the first year, but we went out, we hit the grounds again, and this time people were like coming from across the field saying, hey, there's Wicked, and it was really cool to be recognized even more than the first year, and seeing people out in the crowd this time singing along to 21 or Bust, the High Roller and everything like that. It was pretty cool. Like you said, there's nothing like that. You can't get that feeling anywhere else. So
yeah, another feeling that's awesome is when you're not a well-known band and you look down and you see somebody singing along with a song that you wrote. that's another feeling that's just you can't describe it, and unless you've known it, unless it's happened to you, then you're never going to know what that's like.
Absolutely, yeah.
I saw you guys had a show July 26th coming up here?
Yeah.
King Neptunes, right?
Yeah, I believe that's in the Lake George area of New York. It should be a pretty cool gig. It's definitely a hot spot for the summer vacationers, and we're going to be doing 2 different sets out there, which is kind of like a cool addition, something different that we haven't done before. So it'll be kind of one set will be similar to our kind of powerful rock and roll driving set that we did at Rocklahoma and some of our recent shows. But then we're also going to throw in kind of more of like a radio friendly rock and roll set in addition to that. So it should be kind of a cool new experience with definitely a lot of new songs.
Very cool. How many songs do you have right now? I mean, could you go out there and do 3 sets in one night, or without doing covers?
We have a bank of songs right now that's about 50 original songs, and we just keep adding to it. Like I said, it's like a machine. The whole dynamics of the band is kind of cool. Our manager, who we're very grateful and lucky to have, is an old legend from the area who's worked with Blue Oyster Cult in Boston, Michael Bolton, and he used to have his own recording studio called Rock in Utica, New York, and back in the 80s. And he worked with several punk and 80s bands and metal, and he's a great resource. And we all sit down, and it's the 4 of us guys and him, and we'll come up with songs constantly, new riffs, new lyrics, and ideas, and it really is like a really cool dynamic that we have that we can all kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and then they become like these whole new living children basically.
Cool. Now,
I agree. I think it's. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh no, I think it's very cool to see the transformation from like a song, starting basically by yourself or in a basement or something, just on a sheet of paper, and then getting it out there in front of thousands of people, and that transformation, the time frame, and the way it changes, I think is very cool, and one of the most rewarding things about being a musician and an artist.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm really big on that. I come heavily from the lyrical background, and and seeing the boys and us we'll come in, like you said, with an idea, and by the time you work through it from what you originally had it set to be, and then everybody else gets their hand in it, it just becomes this whole different monster, and it's it's super cool.
Mm-hmm. And it means something different to the people that listen to it. It doesn't necessarily mean what you intended it to the people that listen to it, and I think that's cool to hear the interpretation to come back to you from other people.
Absolutely, and we try to encourage that too. We have some awesome fans, and we always love to get their input. Hear what they think of the songs. On our Kickstarter, one of the rewards was 5 unreleased demos, and a bunch of people got that, and they've been kind of messaging us and telling us what they think and what their take on the songs are. And like you said, it's really cool. Even if it isn't what you meant it to mean, the way they take it, it kind of blows your mind, and it's like, that's cool. I affect it that way. You know what I mean? Yep.
Do you guys play New York City very often?
In the beginning, we would frequent New York quite a bit, but we haven't been back in a while, so we're kind of looking forward to, coming back around and hitting the old stomping grounds.
I'm going to make an introduction. Well, I'm going to pass you guys' information to a guest that we had a few weeks ago, a guy named Mick James. He's released an album called Mick James is Dead. It's a concept album, and he's actually working on a movie for it. And I think his stuff is is heavier, but it's also it's also kind of like a raunchy, sleaze, glam type of thing as well, with a little bit of industrial thrown in. And I think that you guys would go over really well playing a show with him.
That would be awesome. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, so I'll pass his information along. I'll pass your information along to him later on. The show, tonight's show, is going to be on YouTube. I'll have it up. I might get it done tonight, but if not tonight, it'll be up tomorrow, and I'll post it. That way you guys can have it and everything.
Absolutely.
And you saw on my website about the show archive and everything, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, all of those links on the archive are all YouTube videos. So it's kind of like a podcast, I guess. But as we wrap it up, Spade, do you have anything else you want to close with?
I just want to thank you guys for playing rock and roll music and keeping it alive. We're kind of brothers here because we're all out there doing the same thing, supporting the same cause. And it's been a pleasure to talk to you guys and get to know you.
Thank you, man. It was great talking. Great getting to kind of like check out your band and everything prior to the show. So we'll look forward to seeing and hearing more from you.
Yeah, you too.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to thank Spade for filling in. I'm not the main host. Thunder is. I'm the second guy. So
well, I hope I did him justice. I hope he liked the show.
Well, I'm my own harshest critic and everything. But I think. I think that my rawness shows whenever I have to be the main guy, like that time a month or two ago, the other time that he couldn't do the show. But I also want to thank the guys for coming on, and also the two lovely ladies that called us in. We actually had callers. That was really cool.
Very cool.
So, all right. Well, guys, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
We just want to thank you guys for having us. We had a blast talking with you, and we hope to talk to you soon. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys out there. And don't forget that we got some cool new things coming out. Life Alive this August, and check us out at wickedrockandroll.com. Thank you.
We have a last minute caller. Let's go ahead and take.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take them. 918 area code. You're on.
Hey, I'm from Oklahoma. They know me. It's Nina.
Hey, Nina.
Let's go, Nina.
Hey, I just thought I'd call and support you guys. That's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, guys.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I have a last-minute question for the guys.
No, I just called to support.
Okay,
Their dad
cool.
messaged me, so yeah. Just wanted to say hi to everybody. That's it.
Okay. Well, we appreciate
Thank you for your call.
You're welcome. Cool story.
And we have a good one. So, anyway, so wrapping it up, you guys, you gave out the information where they can contact you, get your merchandise and all that stuff. I'm just trying to make sure we got everything. Yeah, I think we did. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And I've got a song from 3D in Your Face as a thank you to Spade here for filling in for Thunder. You guys want to hear a 3D song?
Hell yeah!
All right. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about this song there, Spade.
Oh, this song is it's called Bleed Betty Bleed. The song I wrote is kind of I wanted to write an old school rock and roll song, a song that kind of captured Jerry Lee Lewis and Elvis Presley and all the old school guys, Chuck Berry, but mix it with glam rock and mix it with punk rock and just see what happened. And it's a straight ahead rock and roll song. That's what it is. It's my tribute to to the guys that came before us.
The greats.
And that's
Awesome.
And that's you singing on it too, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, this is Bleed Betty Bleed on the Will and Thunder Show.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Thunder Show. It was Bleed Betty Bleed by 3D in Your Face.
Awesome, man. That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about the little jam part in the middle from the last time I heard it. That was very cool. So I just want to go ahead and wrap it up and thank everybody for being here, everybody for listening. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks again, guys, and y'all have a good one.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to the Will and Thunder Show. We'll see you next week.